Imagine opening your mailbox to find a wedding invitation from your ex-husband. Now, imagine the shock when you realize you're still married. This happened to Jessica, and what followed was a roller coaster of emotions, revelations, and an unexpected twist that changed her life forever. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Stories Unfolded. We share tales that inspire, shock, and remind us of life's unexpected surprises. Let's dive into this extraordinary story. Jessica had finally found peace. 2 years after separating from her husband Ryan, she had settled into a quiet routine. Her small apartment in the city was cozy, filled with potted plants, candles, and the calming hum of life slowly getting back on track. After years of miscommunication and emotional exhaustion, Jessica and Ryan had mutually decided to part ways. Their marriage had started with love, but had been plagued by mounting pressures. By the end, the relationship had been more about surviving than thriving. The last time Jessica had seen Ryan was the day they'd signed what she believed were their divorce papers. It had been bittersweet, with both of them acknowledging that they still cared for each other, but agreeing they were better off apart. She never expected to hear from him again. That was until the cream-colored envelope arrived in her mailbox. It was a Tuesday morning when Jessica opened her mailbox and spotted the envelope. The gold-embossed lettering caught her eye, elegant and formal. Her curiosity piqued. She opened it right there on the spot. Inside was a beautifully designed wedding invitation. Jessica's eyes scanned the names, her breath catching as she read, "Ryan Carter and Emily Monroe cordially invite you to celebrate their union." Her heart raced. Ryan was getting married. She felt a strange mixture of emotions, surprise, sadness, and even a little relief. But as she stared at the card, something gnawed at the back of her mind. The courthouse, the phone call, the paperwork. Jessica suddenly remembered that day 2 years ago when she'd received a call informing her that there had been an issue with their divorce paperwork. At the time, she was too emotionally drained to follow up and assumed Ryan had taken care of it. Her stomach turned as realization dawned on her. We're still legally married. For hours, Jessica sat at her kitchen table, staring at the invitation. Should she call Ryan? Should she let him go through with the wedding without knowing? Would it even matter? She thought about their relationship, the good times and the bad. They had shared 7 years together, growing up and figuring out adulthood side by side. Though the love between them had faded, there was still a deep respect and care. He deserves to know, Jessica murmured to herself. But how would he react? Would he be angry, embarrassed? She imagined the scene in her head. Ryan, standing with his bride-to-be, blindsided by the revelation that his marriage wasn't legally valid. Jessica shook her head. No, she decided. I need to tell him before the wedding. Privately. The opportunity came sooner than Jessica expected. A mutual friend, Claire, who was unaware of the situation, casually mentioned Ryan's bachelor party at a local restaurant. Jessica decided to go, knowing it might be her only chance to talk to him before the wedding. The night of the party, Jessica walked into the bustling restaurant, her palms sweaty with nerves. She spotted Ryan immediately. He was at a large table surrounded by friends, laughing and looking more relaxed than she'd seen him in years. Her heart tightened. Seeing him like this, so happy and carefree, made her hesitate. But she knew what she had to do. She walked up to the table, her presence quickly silencing the laughter. Ryan looked up, his smile fading as their eyes met. "Jessica," he said, his tone a mix of surprise and confusion. "Hi, Ryan," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Can we talk?" Ryan excused himself from the table, leading Jessica to a quieter corner of the restaurant. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his brow furrowed. Jessica held up the wedding invitation. "I got this," she said. "Congratulations, by the way, but there's something you need to know." Ryan's smile faltered. "What is it?" Jessica took a deep breath. "We're still married." Ryan stared at her, blinking as if he hadn't heard her correctly. "What are you talking about?" Jessica explained the issue with the paperwork, her voice tinged with guilt for not addressing it sooner. "So, you're telling me," Ryan said slowly, "that I've been planning a wedding while still being married to you?" Jessica nodded. "I'm sorry, Ryan. I thought you had taken care of it." Ryan ran a hand through his hair, pacing the small space. "This is insane. Emily's going to freak out." Jessica felt a pang of guilt. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she said softly. "I just thought you deserved to know before the wedding." Ryan stopped pacing and looked at her, his expression softening. "Thank you for telling me," he said, though his voice was strained. This is a mess, but I appreciate you being honest." Ryan decided to tell Emily the truth that same night. Jessica offered to come along, but Ryan insisted on handling it himself. The next day, Jessica received a call from Ryan. He sounded tired but calm. "She took it better than I expected," he said. "She's upset, of course, but she's willing to work through it. We're postponing the wedding until everything's sorted out." Jessica felt a wave of relief. "I'm glad she understands," she said. Ryan sighed. "Yeah, but we've got some work to do." Over the next few weeks, Jessica and Ryan worked together to finalize their divorce. It was an emotional process, dredging up old memories and unresolved feelings. But it also gave them a chance to reflect on their relationship and find closure. One day, as they signed the final papers, Ryan looked at Jessica and said, "You know, this whole thing made me realize how much I took for granted." Jessica smiled softly. "Me too. I think we both needed this, to move forward for real." Months later, Jessica received another wedding invitation in the mail. This time, it was clear. Ryan and Emily were starting their new chapter together. Jessica smiled as she placed the invitation on her counter. Her own life had changed, too. She had started dating again, feeling more confident and open to the possibilities ahead. Sometimes, life's unexpected twists bring clarity and growth, even when they're messy. Jessica's story was a reminder that endings aren't always final, and that closure is worth pursuing, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. This story shows us that honesty, even when it's difficult, is the foundation of closure and new beginnings. Jessica and Ryan's journey reminds us that sometimes life's detours lead to the most meaningful destinations. If this story inspired you, please like and share it to spread the message of courage and connection. Don't forget to subscribe to The Stories Unfolded for more incredible tales of life's unexpected twists. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.